There's a lot to discuss for Texas Tech football, including a major official visitors weekend out in the 806. We'll discuss some of the biggest names that visited Texas Tech football this weekend, as well as, is Money Morton back? We'll talk about that and much more in today's video. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxwell here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as we are in full systems go for Texas Tech football. About 80 days away from kickoff at Jones AT&T Stadium for the Red Raiders on August 31st. And if you're excited about that, simply like the video. And if you want to stay in the know all year long on Texas Tech football, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. All right, as I mentioned, it was a very busy weekend for the Red Raiders on the official visitor front. We won't discuss everyone that was out in the 806 this past weekend, but we'll talk about some of the bigger names, and we'll have some of those names down at the bottom of your screen right now. They had 10-plus guys on campus, did the Red Raiders, on official visits. Big-time weekend for Texas Tech, and we'll talk about Joey McGuire here in just a second and where Texas Tech currently ranks for that 2025 class. But some of the bigger names on campus, Lloyd Jones III, four-star quarterback, already committed to Texas Tech. That's huge to have the fundamental building block, which the quarterback always is in a class, be on campus for this big-time weekend for the Red Raiders. You also had another Texas Tech commit in RA, a.k.a. Mr. Adams out there as well. But some of the guys that really stood out, and the name that I think is probably most interesting to monitor right now, because I think he could be one of those guys that could come in and be an instant impact player for the Red Raiders, is Micah Strickland, a four-star DB out of Brownsboro, Texas. Just a crazy athletic kid. I mean, he's on the track, he's playing multiple sports, and you know how Texas Tech and this football staff feel about multi-sport athletes, specifically ones that run fast as hell. He fits the criteria Micah Strickland does. So he's the guy to watch. Another guy that was interesting that stood out to me was Malcolm Simpson, a 6'3", 255, four-star edge from Galveston, Texas. Again, long way down there. But he already has the body where if you add a couple of pounds, maybe 15 or so, maybe he plays day one. He's that type of player. It will be interesting to see where his recruitment goes. But those are the guys at the bottom of your screen that have been scrolling throughout this time that were on campus, among others as well. And Texas Tech has a few official visitors coming in next weekend as well. And we'll keep you up to date on that front for the Red Raiders. Now, I mentioned Joey McGuire. He sent out 2 bat signals. What are the bat signals? Maybe there's a better way to describe it. But the Ric Flair gif, you know what that means if you're a part of Red Raider Nation. And he sent out 2 on Sunday. Full transparency, I'm recording this on Sunday, and the announcements haven't come out yet. You will be hearing this on June 10th. But you know, as soon as we hear of the commitments and who they are, we'll have a video, we'll discuss it, and we'll keep you in the know on everything Texas Tech football on the recruiting trail or on the gridiron. But as it stands right now, again, before we know who these commitments are, at least are announced, I should say, Texas Tech has a top 30 class in the 2025 recruiting process. You look at the 3 major sites, 247 Sports has, well, Texas Tech is the 21st best recruiting class. Rivals, 25th. On3, 28th. So Joey McGuire and crew are continuing that momentum and really landing themselves at the top of the Big 12 leaderboard when it comes to where is their recruiting class ranked. Now you're starting to see some of these guys from these previous recruiting classes be mentioned on the 2 deep. Probably have to have impact guys from those said recruiting classes now on this year's team for Texas Tech, but they continue to layer them and continue to progress and build that foundation and grow upon that foundation. And this recruiting class for 2025 looks to be the same kind of way for the Red Raiders. All right, I started the video with it, but welcome back, Money Morton. That was good to see. We'll look at these videos here in just a second. And in fact, damn it, let's get straight to it. I mean, I know some people are going to say, RC, you're overreacting. It's just a throw. You know, he threw it, 50 yards and nobody's coming at him. That doesn't matter to me right now. And also, Doc, by the way, for Money Morton right there. Let's go look at the other one real quick. Just a casual, 50-yard dot to Coy Aiken, inside, outside, whatever you want right there, right? So you think about it from that perspective. And again, I'm just throwing this out there over and over again because look at this. He has a shoulder injury people were worried about. I'm one of those guys that was worried about it. He posts both of these videos, and you think about it from that perspective, okay? I have some points here because I get it. There's going to be somebody in the comments saying, RC, he's throwing against air. Nobody's rushing him. That doesn't matter to me, truthfully, right now at this stage of the offseason. And the reason being is this. There's a couple of points that I want to go over, but let's lay the groundwork of how did we get here to where two videos kind of created a, I don't know if this is the right word, a tizzy. That felt really weird to say. Very, very boomerish, but I said it anyway. Anyway, you got to remember where he was, right? In terms of he did not finish spring practice because of the shoulder injury. Went to Alabama, okay, to look at his shoulder from a shoulder specialist, okay? So you think about it from that perspective. Three things stand out to me from this video, and I'll walk you through it. First, the fact that he's throwing is a positive, okay? I know that seems very, very small, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that that's a bigger deal considering the past 6-7 months that Behren Morton has had with this shoulder injury. You think about when he had it. It was all the way back at West Virginia. He was never the same during the 2023 campaign, even didn't practice really, and didn't throw a football up until game day, okay? So you think about it from that perspective. I already mentioned the fact that he did not finish spring camp. That was a big deal to me in a lot of ways. Maybe it was a bigger deal to me than others, but hey, that's just my opinion. Then he went to go see that specialist, as I mentioned. So him throwing just in itself right now, again, recording this on June 9th, you'll see it on June 10th. I think that's a big deal. Secondly, and this may be the major one out of this, he was cleared to do this. Okay, I already laid the groundwork in terms of why this was a big deal just seeing him throw. And again, you may think I'm overreacting. I know I'm a couple days late. I was on vacation. Sue me, okay? But this is big for Behren Morton from a confidence standpoint that he has been cleared to do that, right? And he felt comfortable enough to post those videos, which is obviously a big deal as, well, the recording light goes out. But I can tell you what's not lights out right now. Well, that throw by Behren Morton, absolute dime type stuff. Anyway, it's big because you get to throw to your receivers, right? And I talked about how in previous videos that he's going to have to do that because really this playmaking crew that Texas Tech has outside of really Coy Aiken, they're brand new guys at the wide receiver and tight end spot because you think about it, Mason Tharp was injured last year for a majority of it. He's another returnee. So really Coy Aiken and Mason Tharp, that's it. You got Josh Kelly coming in, 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson, John Carlos Miller, Jalen Conyers, right? Yeah, you have Taj Brooks back, but from a wide receiver tight end perspective, you really only have two guys that have proven it at a high level coming back. I know Dre is there too, but he didn't really do a whole lot last year alongside other guys, and there was a lot of reasons for that. We don't have to get into that, but I think that's a big deal. And then third, and maybe this is the most important one to a lot of people out there, you got to see it. Because we know what was going to be the major talking point all offseason long, and it still may be when it comes down to it. But the major talking point was going to be how healthy is Behren Morton? And now you get to see these types of throws, albeit two videos. I think it was 17 seconds long. That's it, right? You got to see that. And that's a big deal because you got to see it. There's something to be said for that. And I think going into this offseason and a season that Texas Tech has high expectations because, well, they're at 7.5 wins. That's what they're at in terms of the Vegas line for them this season. I think a lot of people are probably taking the over. A lot of people are taking the Kool-Aid, but there's obviously going to be a lot of people that are down from last season as well. But the major talking point was going to be how healthy is Behren Morton. I get it. It's two throws, but for him to be cleared and post those videos, there's something to that. And obviously something to it is PR a little bit, but I think there's a comfortability factor in the sense of you getting to see it, me getting to see it, others getting to see it. There's something to be said for that. All right. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football all year long. It's officially grind season, people. We'll be doing previews in terms of position previews. We'll be doing film breakdowns. That Lyle Leon guy, you know, the guy that's second all time in receiving touchdowns at Texas Tech? Oh, yeah, he'll be back too. We'll be talking all things Texas Tech football right here on the largest subscribed to Texas Tech YouTube channel. Yeah, you heard me. Over 10,000 strong right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.